According to the latest census numbers, more than half of the women 65 or older are unmarried. For men, it's 27%. That's more than 1 in 4. And a lot of those retirees being single say they haven't saved enough money, according to the numbers at least. These are from a study by the Rand Corporation. Among couples, 20% are not financially prepared, but then when you look at single men, the number jumps to 35%. Single women, almost half. Well, John Vento joins us now with some tips for those single retirees. Good morning to you, John. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. You know, it's interesting. A lot of singles mess up the math. They think, well, if there's only one of me, I only need half as much money as a married couple. But you say that's quite wrong.
Yeah, that's definitely not the case. The truth is it probably will cost them 40 to 50% more than it would if they were married. And it's simple math. It's unfortunate, but many single people just screw the math up. What you want to think about is imagine taking a vacation with a good friend of yours. Well, if you're taking that trip, you're going to share things like renting a car, renting a room. So the cost of that vacation is going to be less. The same is true when you're living with a companion.
And also, mostly the rules are written in favor of married couples, tax breaks, things like that. What advice do you have for a lot of these single retirees if they haven't prepared up until now? They're in this place and they have to try and get through the later years.
Okay, well, number one, they have to do a much better job of saving than the married couple would. So fully fund that 401k if your employer offers you one. If you're already retired, then what I like to think about here is, remember the odd couple, they actually live together to share costs. Well, if the odd couple were able to get along for all those years and made a good show out of it, I think single people need to find a roommate and basically share some of those common living expenses. If they're not willing to do that, then the only thing they could do is simply lower their standard of living, maybe downsize the home they're living in, rent a smaller apartment, whatever it takes to bring their budget down to control.
Some people like to call that a real estate relationship. That it's always based on whether or not you're going to save money. You also say that it's dangerous for singles to borrow money when it comes to retirement. Why is that? Yeah,
well, the truth is anyone that borrows money from a 401k plan against their retirement plan, they're taking a very, very big risk. And the risk is that if for any reason you have to terminate employment, whether you get fired or leave for medical reasons or whatever the case may be, then the money that you borrowed from your 401k plan becomes completely taxable. So typically you're going to have to pay that money back to your employer and add it back into your retirement fund. If you can't do that, the lump sum will be taxed and also subject to a 10% IRS penalty. So that's one of the biggest mistakes, not just single people, but quite frankly, anyone can make, is borrowing against a retirement plan.
Interesting. A lot of people struggle with whether or not to go to a financial advisor. You know, you pay them a percentage of whatever that they make, and they don't really suffer if you lose the money. And you say it's actually more important for single retirees to focus on getting an advisor, more so than even married couples.
Well, the reason for that is that the relationship between an advisor and their client really should become a very, very close relationship. So everyone needs a sounding board. A single individual may not have that partner to talk things through with. So just having someone as an advisor, and we're not just talking about advising you on your investments here, we're talking about advising you just with life in general in terms of financial decisions you need to make. So having someone to speak to, I think, is critically important for everyone, but especially for a single person who may not have a partner to speak to about these matters.
Right, the pressure being on. And, you know, it's good news that people are living longer. The bad news is that they need more savings to live longer, women especially. And, you know, you make an interesting point in some of the notes that you sent over to us that couples really should think about helping each other out, help provide health care, transportation. Think about your neighbor that may be single, and maybe that would help them as well. John Vento, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Take care.